Have you seen people on YouTube making those sublimation spinners? Well, I have, and I wanted to try them out. Hi, I'm Marilyn, and my channel's Making with Marilyn. So if you're interested in seeing that process, you're in the right place. Now here's what I'm going to use in my project today. I have a print that I printed, and it is printed with sublimation ink. I printed it from an Epson EcoTank 15,000 that I converted to sublimation. Now, when I say converted, all I mean is I put sublimation ink in it instead of the ink that came with it. So I have 2 of these printed out. And then here's the wind spinner. And then it comes with this hook that swivels. And so it is sublimatable on both sides. I don't know if sublimatable is a word, but if it's not, it is now. I have some alcohol to clean it, some paper towels, and then I have some butcher paper to protect my heat press. I also have this sublimation tape or heat resistant tape, and then I'm going to make this in my HTB Ront press. Now the wind spinner that I purchased, or the wind spinners that I purchased, they are almost 10 inches in diameter. And so if you don't have a wide format printer and you don't want to tape your pieces of sublimation together, then you can also buy these in 8-inch diameter. But since I have the larger printer, I went ahead and got the larger size. Now there is film on this, there's protective film. And I was trying to poke at it and prod at it just to see how hard it would be to get off. And I honestly didn't even think there was any on there. Well, I thought about one time when somebody left a comment that said, if you want to remove your film, put a piece of tape down. I'm going to go ahead and stick it down to the center really well. And then pull back at a really harsh angle. And if there's film on there, it'll pick it up. And lo and behold, look at that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and peel this up. Now, where it's connected here, it should pick up the rest of it. Yes, okay. Now, when I'm done sublimating these, then you have to twist them so that they're in the right shape. I mean, you wouldn't have to, but that's what I'm going to do. And then I want to remember to get it off the back. Just rub it down. I didn't leave much room to lift it, but rub it down and peel back. Now, I don't know if this will work every single time, but it sure did work on this, and I've used that trick before. So I wish I could remember who left that comment. I'd like to give them credit. I sure didn't think of this. So if you happen to be watching, thank you very much. Now I want to show you how this was packaged when I got it. Mine was a 2-pack. I think I paid $17.99 for 2 of these. It is in this protective plastic sleeve and then taped to the outside, which I really like that it's taped to the outside so it's not up against the metal as much. You get your swivel hook. The other thing is, you can either attach your swivel hook up here, or if you flipped it over on the other side, and then you could dangle something like crystals or something from the bottom. I'm not sure what I'm going to dangle from it yet, so that'll have to be another video. So with my sublimation print far away from my sublimation blank, because you don't want to accidentally spray alcohol on your sublimation print, I'm going to go ahead and just spray some of this on a paper towel. Now, some people will use a lint roller to remove anything that might be on here, but I like to just use 90% rubbing alcohol. Okay, I'm going to be handling this, and I'm actually going to get tape on the back, so I will clean the other side right before I press the other side. All right, I want to make sure my table is dry as well. Okay, so on this print, one thing that I noticed, which I thought was really nice, is the print actually has a little nub here and here Hopefully you can see that. And that lets you know how to put this on your blank so that your blank is straight with this. Now I also mirrored the image. It wouldn't matter in this case because there's no words. There's nothing that doesn't make sense if it happens to be backwards, but I did mirror it. All right, so this is the clean side. Let's just flip it over. And the print is a little larger than the sublimation blank, but I like that. If it weren't, I would have resized it to make it a little larger because I don't want to accidentally have some white on the wind spinner. All right, I'm going to go with that. Now, I'm going to use just a couple pieces of this heat-resistant tape. I just don't want this to shift when I'm taking it to my heat press, which is right behind me, but I don't want it to shift. Actually, I'll use 3 pieces. All right, so I have seen people sublimate these at 385 to 400 degrees. I'm going to use 385. And then I've seen people do from 100 seconds to 225 seconds, I believe. So I'm going to heat this for 100 seconds at 385. Now, when I heat this, let me show you how I'll do that. Now, I'm using an HTV Ront, and I really do like it, but until I bought a new pad for it, I really did not like it. I didn't like at all the pad that came with it. It was just a real flimsy, squishy one. I think you need something that holds firm so that you get really good pressure. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and flip it over. You want to have some protective paper on the press or on the mat of the press. Otherwise, all that ink that is outside of the metal, it's going to go right on your pad. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put 2 pieces of paper under it just to be really safe. Paper is really inexpensive, and these pressing mats, this one was around $25, a little bit less than $25, and so I don't want to accidentally ruin that. I'd rather just use a spare piece of paper. Then I'm going to put 1 sheet on top where the ink will be, just in case any of it bleeds through the back. And we'll see if it does when I take this off the press. Now the HTV Ront press goes up to 99 seconds. So instead of 100, I'm going to do 99. Then I'm going to wait for it to cool down a little bit, peel back just 1 corner to see if the color is good, if it's popped the way it should. And if it hasn't, I'll put it back under for some more time. Now the bottom of the pressing mat is also pretty hot, and I don't want it to warp my cutting mat. So sorry about the ring light glare. All right, let's see if ink came all the way through to this one. I don't see any on that. Let's go ahead and put on a glove, and then let me find a place where it's not taped down. Ooh, that looks nice. Let's check the other side, because if it didn't sublimate evenly, then I would rotate it when I put it back in the press. Look how pretty that is. I think that is plenty vibrant. If you overcook sublimation things, they actually start fading. So I think that looks great. All right, so let's go ahead and peel this off. Now you can see what I was talking about the ink going through. So I need to throw this away. But I don't see any on the second layer, so I can reuse this piece. And look how beautiful this first side turned out. Now I assume that maybe you could put a different print on the back, but I think for continuity, I think it's going to look best if you use the same print on both sides. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Have you tried 2 different pictures? And if so, how did it look? Okay. Now I can see that a little bit of the ink, as it became a gas, and then it solidified back on. I can see there's a little bit on the back side. Now it's the same colors. I think it's going to blend in fine, but I did see Crystal Ann do the front and the back side at the same time. And so that would keep that from happening. I just wasn't sure how I would get it taped down and keep it in place by doing that, but maybe I'll try that next time. I'll have to rewatch her video. All right. I'm going to go ahead and put my second piece down, and then I need to make sure that this is the top again. And then my print will be right side up if I put it this way. So flip it over. It's cooled off enough now that it's not going to pick up the ink. I might have said this before. I would enlarge this print just a tiny bit if I were to do this one again, because I don't like it being so close. Now I don't want to enlarge it too much or you lose out on some of the detail, but I would definitely enlarge it, maybe 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch. It's plenty big in a lot of places, but in some places it's just really close. All right, I did not clean that other side. Let's see what happens. So we're going to flip it over. And then one piece of protective paper on the top. Now, should I heat this one for a different time just to see what happens? I think this time I'll go with 150 seconds. Now, we're going to experiment this time, and we're going to do the 150 seconds. I really think the other side looked beautiful, but I just want to try it out and let you know what I find. Now, since the HTV RON only goes up to 99 seconds, when this lifts, I'll set it for 50 more seconds, and then let's compare the two sides, see if it made any difference at all. So I'm going to let it sit here for just maybe about 1 minute, and then I'll be right back. Okay, it's been about a minute, so let me go ahead and take this top piece off, and then I know you can't see this time. I'm going to lift it up here in just a minute, but let me check out the color. All right, to me it looks about like it looked when it was 100 seconds or 99 seconds. And despite not cleaning it, it looks great. Now here's what it looks like. And then here's what the other side looks like. So can you tell any difference between the old side and the new side? I haven't been able to really compare yet, so I'm going to rely on you to let me know, do you see a difference? All right, let me let that cool off, and then I'm going to try to figure out how to bend these so they look right. Now I'm looking at the two pieces of paper, and I know this is the one that I did second. And there actually is a little bit of a better ink release. So the second one was this one, and look, there is a better ink release. So even though it still looks great, both sides look great, I will definitely do 150 seconds next time. Okay, that feels fine, and so now it's time to bend it. And so I've seen people bend these a lot. I've seen people bend these just a little bit. I'm going to go somewhere in the middle. Now the way it made sense to me was basically take this middle piece, try to grab the middle piece, and then twist it. You don't want to bend too much out here and weaken the metal. And since this is my first time, I'm just going to work at it and see what I get. So I'm going to hold on to the middle and bend on one side, and then I'm going to move out to the next little ring, move out to the next little ring, and just keep on going that way. Okay. Probably ought to pull on it closer to this centerpiece. And then I'm just going to work this to the way I think I like it. I want to try to get it where the gaps between each of those are fairly even. So give me a minute to figure this out. All right, so I like this side. This side needs just a little bit of work. Again, I'm just working one little piece at a time. And I'm pushing close to that centerpiece so that I don't bend this. All right, I think that's going to look pretty good. I might bend this center one back just a tiny bit. All right, let me put this little hook on it. We're going to hold it up and act like the wind is spinning it. Okay, so it has this little thing here that you just press in and it makes a gap. And then I want to be kind of careful that I don't scratch the coating. There we go. Isn't that cute? Now this type of hook makes it where it can just spin freely. I love that. So pretty. Now, like I said before, you can dangle something from the bottom. I don't know what that's going to be yet. But when I get it done, I'll show it to you. So thank you so much for joining me today. And until my next video, bye-bye. Cute. Love it. Now we are not going to spend a bunch of time here on Creative Fabrica, but I want to show you the two searches that I used to find this. One search was Wind Spinner, and there's the one that I used. Let me try to make my screen smaller so you can see more at one time. Anyway, you'll see there are a ton of patterns that you can pick from. I could scroll and scroll and scroll. And the second thing that I searched for was stained glass. And that brought up several others. Now, if I were using one of the stained glass ones, I would stay away from anything that isn't circular. And then I would also make sure that enough of the image is in the middle of the circle so that you're not cutting a lot of it out on those little pieces that extend beyond the center. So I'll put a link to Creative Fabrica. If you're not a member, you can get a 30-day trial membership. It lasts 30 days or 10 free uploads, whichever occurs first. And then once that's up, you'll have the option either to go month to month, that is more expensive, or you can do an annual one. They bill you all at once, but it's only, I think, $4.99 a month. So it's a great deal if you do a lot of crafts.